Today I am sharing the explanation of Chaupai 5 and Chaupai 6 of Hanuman Chalisa in English from My Hanuman Chalisa by Devdutt Pattanaik. Chaupai 5 Warrior, Servant and Sage. हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे, कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे. You hold a thunderbolt club and a flag in your hands and have the sacred thread on your shoulder. In the previous verse, the focus was on what Hanuman was born with, his complexion, his hair, even his earrings. This verse focuses on what he holds in his hands and bears on his body, a mace, a flag, and a sacred thread, janehu, made of sabai grass, munja on his shoulder. These are instruments, yantra, that embellish the icon, swarupa of Hanuman and help refine our understanding of him. The common word used for mace is gada, but the word used here is vajra or the thunderbolt, which is Indra's weapon. In the Vedas, Indra is the greatest of gods, one who battles demons like Vritra and releases the waters held by clouds. He is the patron of kings, yet in the Puranas his role is reduced. He is the lord of paradise, Swarga, leader of Devas, who lives in celestial regions and enjoys worldly pleasures but lacks wisdom. He needs the help of Vishnu to fight the demons, Asuras, who lay siege to paradise and declare war relentlessly. This shift in status indicates a shift from the older, more materialistic Vedic way to the later Vedic Upanishadic way where greater value was placed on the mind, on meaning, than on riches and power. In the Puranas, every deity has a flag, Dvaja, of his own. Vishnu has a flag with the image of a hawk known as Garuda Dhwaja, and Shiva has a flag with the image of a bull known as Brishava Dhwaja, but Hanuman's Dhwaja belongs to Ram, in keeping with his role as Ram's messenger and commander of his armies. Hanuman holds both Indra's weapon and Ram's flag, which endorses his status as mightier than the old Vedic celestial god king, but serving the latter Puranic earthbound god king. Hanuman's Janehu makes him a twice born Dvija. Hindus believe that we have two births. First, there is physical birth, and then there is the psychological birth. Physically, we are born out of the mother's womb into human culture. Our navel reminds us of our origin in the mother's womb. In Hindu culture, pierced earlobes are indicators of human culture, similar to the practice of tattooing or tooth filing in other cultures. Our psychological birth takes place when we accept a guru who reveals to us the secrets of the Vedas. The mark of psychological birth is the sacred thread made of munja grass that hangs over the left shoulder. This thread has three strings representative of the Hindu Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu and Shakti. It also reminds us that while animals have only one body, physical, humans have three, physical, psychological and social. Hanuman accessed Vedic wisdom through Surya, the sun god, who also revealed Vedic secrets to Yajnavalkya, the sage whose words are captured in many Upanishads. Vedic secrets include knowledge of karma and dharma, of aham, our identity based on hunger and fear, and Atma, our identity independent of hunger and fear. Hanuman being given the Janehu despite being a servant of Ram and a wild forest creature is not highlighted in the Valmiki Ramayana but becomes prominent in later texts, especially regional Ramayanas written in vernacular languages in the last 5 centuries when caste excesses had peaked. People were asking what makes a real Brahmin, effort or birth? Hanuman becomes Brahmin by effort and education, while Ravana is the son of a Brahmin named Vaishrava who married a Rakshasa woman Koikesi. The Vedas turn Hanuman from beast to human, giving him wisdom and compassion to unconditionally help a man find his lost wife. By contrast, Ravana, although human and despite his Vedic knowledge, behaves like a brute, grabbing another man's wife for his own pleasure. That Hanuman holds a weapon in his hand establishes him as a warrior, Kshatriya. That he holds Ram's flag establishes him as a servant, Dasa, Sudra. That he has the sacred thread across his chest establishes him as a Brahmin, one who has accessed the Vedas. Thus, the highest and the lowest stations of Vedic society, Varna, are accommodated in Hanuman, a creature of the forest. Chaupai 6. Rudra's 11th form. Shankar Suvan Kesari Nandan Tej Pratap Mahajag Bandhan. Shankara's Shiva's manifestation, Kesari's son, your glory is venerated by the whole world. This verse connects Hanuman to Shankara, which is another name for Shiva. For many devotees today, Hanuman is a form of Shiva. He is described variously as the son of Shiva, as the manifestation of Shiva, as an avatar of Shiva, as the 11th Rudra form. This connection between Hanuman and Shiva began roughly 1005 years ago, a time that also saw Puranic Hinduism split between two schools of thought, the Vaishnavites, who saw the world affirming Vishnu as the supreme divine being, and the Shaivites, who saw the world renouncing Shiva as the supreme divine being. When the Ramayana became popular, Vishnu worshippers saw Ram as the mortal form, avatar of Vishnu who kills Ravana, a devotee Bhakta of Shiva. This turned the Ramayana into a tale of rivalry between Vishnu and Shiva. To counter this, Shiva worshippers said that Hanuman was the form of Shiva. They pointed to Hanuman's status as Brahmachari, celibate, continent, and content with no wants or needs, and his color being as white as camphor, Karpura Gauranga, indicative of his being Shiva. In some stories explaining the origins of Hanuman, it is said that when Shiva saw Vishnu in the form of Mohini or Parvati, he began to sweat profusely. Vayu collected this sweat and poured it in the ear of Anjana, a Vanara woman who gave birth to Hanuman. Anjana's husband Kesari raised Hanuman as his own son, and so Hanuman is also known as the son of Kesari. So besides a mortal father Kesari and a Vedic father Vayu, Hanuman also has a Puranic father Shiva. Besides a mortal mother Anjani, Hanuman also has a celestial mother Shakti. According to Shaivites, Shiva himself descended as Hanuman to destroy Ravana, an errant Shiva Bhakta. According to them, Ravana had offered his 10 heads to Shiva and obtained boons that made him very powerful. But as Rudra, Shiva has 11 forms. Ravana's offerings of 10 heads satisfied the 10 forms of Rudra. The 11th unhappy Rudra took birth as Hanuman to kill Ravana. Hence, Hanuman is also Raudraya. In Maharashtra, the 17th century Saint Ramdas established 11 Maruti temples, reminding all of Hanuman's association with the 11 forms of Rudra. To establish their superiority, Vishnu worshippers argued that Hanuman, hence Shiva, obeyed instructions given by Vishnu. To counter this, Shiva worshippers said that without Hanuman's help, Ram would never have found Sita. In many retellings of the Ramayana, it is Hanuman who enables the killing of Ravana. For example, in one Telugu retelling, despite knowing that Ravana's life resided in his navel, Ram shot only at the head of Ravana as he was too proud a warrior to shoot below the neck. So Hanuman sucked air into his lungs and caused the wind to shift direction, making Ram's arrow turn and strike Ravana's navel. Hanuman's association with Shiva and with celibacy was reinforced by Hanuman's association with the various ascetic schools of Hinduism, including the Nath yogis who followed the path of Matsyendranath from around 1000 years ago to the Vedantic Mathas who followed Madhava Acharya from around 700 years ago and Sant Ramdas who inspired many Maratha warriors 400 years ago. The latter sages, especially during the Bhakti period, introduced the idea of connecting celibacy with service. You give up your worldly pleasures and work for the worldly aspirations of society, just as the hermit Shiva became the householder Shankara for the benefit of humanity. These sages spoke of how the ascetic Hanuman became Ram's servant for the benefit of society. At one time, women were not allowed to worship Hanuman. By his mere radiance, it is said in many stories, he can make them pregnant. In the stories of Nath yogis, one learns of queens who become pregnant by simply listening to the song of Hanuman, or fish becoming pregnant by consuming the sweat of Hanuman, for his radiance permeates into his voice and his sweat. As the centuries passed, the overtly masculine nature of Hanuman was toned down. Just as Shiva was domesticated by Shakti, Hanuman's gentle side is evoked by Sita. Since there can be no Shiva without Shakti, many say that Shakti took the form of Hanuman's tail and always accompanied him. Hence, today women also worship Hanuman to solve their problem. The explanation of the following Chaupais will be continued in the next videos.